Hi guys, happy Sunday with Satan. So, alright, we're going to jump right back into the Regency and the children of Cain. So it gets really interesting. It gets a lot more interesting as we go on. So this is the last part of that has anything really to do with the Regency and their rituals and rites. It gets a lot better, and it is so exciting. So it's really good information. I'm really glad that you guys like my how I got started with all of this, and my connection with my grandma and the board, and how she came through, and how our connection, it just goes on beyond death. So it's just really, really interesting, and I'm really glad, that somebody mentioned that. So if I can find where I went. I just love this. Yeah, I found where I was just a second ago. Now I can't. Oh my goodness. Where did I go? There I am. So, okay, now. Another account of a Regency rite practiced by members of its inner circle as witnessed by an outsider was provided by the American writer and parapsychologist, the late Dr. Hans Holzer. So, in 1967, Dr. Holzer visited England to make a television documentary on witchcraft and research a book on the subject for an American publisher to accompany it. So, he was invited to a cocktail party at George Stannard's house, where he was introduced to the Kabbalistic magician Bill Gary and an ex-Alexandrian witch called Robert Turner, Tina Turner, whatever. So, who, as a child, met Gerald Gardner at his museum on the Isle of Man. Now, Turner had left the craft to join a ceremonial magical group in the Midlands called the Order of the Cubic Stone, which is the a Rubik's Cube? Is that how you say that? I don't know. A Rubik Cube. Rubik, I think. I don't know. So the party was followed by ritual, probably organized by Gary, as he was keen on bringing together practitioners from various magical and craft traditions in such a ritualistic and social context. That could cause for some trouble right there. That would be some trouble brewing. I mean, if you had the wrong people, yeah. But anyway. So, following this meeting, Dr. Holzer was invited back to attend a Halloween ritual held by what he describes as a robed coven, to which George Stannard and Marion Green, later editor of Quest magazine, belonged. So this presumably was the inner circle of the Regency mentioned before that was not accessible to the general public, and performed its rituals in secret. So everyone present was wearing black robes, and the rite was led by a couple described as the master and the lady. So yeah, the magister and the magistra, yeah, and assisted by a woman known as the maiden. So at the beginning of the ceremony, all those present were lightly scourged to absolve them of their sins. So then blue... Did I write flowers? Flowers, yes. Blue flowers were offered up, symbolizing death, and the lady purified the circle by sweeping it with her besom. So, very typical. Now, the besom and the sword, which Dr. Holzer was told was the symbol of the master's power in the circle, were crossed and laid on the floor, and this formed a symbolic style, and the coven then entered the circle by stepping over them. So, the gods were called upon and the spirits of the dead were contacted. Now, a new athame was consecrated using some holy oil made from herbs regarding as having magical properties. So, I love how all these people go and visit. But George Pickingale, yeah, it's the best. I mean, oh my god. So, yeah, we'll get to that tomorrow. Alright, so the rite ended with the eating of small spiced cakes. What kind of spiced cakes? and the drinking of red wine. Now, Dr. Holzer was told that the coven was interested in researching the old traditions so that the craft would not die out. So their main objective, though, was to gain knowledge, and for that reason, they were not interested in power. Now, the group obviously did not follow the precepts of the Wiccan Rede with its law of threefold return. Whatever, as Dr. Holzer was told, they worked rituals for healing and cursing, and that is what a traditional witch does. So, no, there's no Wicca in traditional craft at all. Very different. So during the rituals, the coven practiced mediumistic trances, and these were induced by either the use of psychoactive plants, chanting or walking silently around the circle to create a state of self-hypnosis. So it seems clear from this description of the group's activities that it was still closely following in the footsteps of Robert Cochrane, and that's good. Also, it seems that the rites and practices of the inner circle of the Regency were quite different from the more neo-pagan festivals that were performed for the benefit of the public. So this has in fact been confirmed to this writer by both Rosina Bishop and Evan John Jones. So in fact, it has been claimed that its inner circle was directly an evolution of the Cochrane Coven. I like that. I do like that. Alright, so now at Hallows 1974, Ronald White announced that he was resigning his office as the regent of the group. He said that he had ruled the Regency for 7 years. The king must take the bow to the knee to one virile and younger than he. So this decision seems to have been based on the Fraserian Moriite concept that the priest king or magister of a traditional coven ruled for 7 years before he was sacrificed or replaced by a younger, more virile version. Virile. I'm not even going to try. Now, the Regency apparently continued after Ronald White allegedly stepped down, as Ken Reese has said he attended at least 3 meetings between 1974 and 1977. Well, that's not really too many meetings. So, allegedly, a personal friend of his had acted as a coordinator at 2 of them. So John of Monmouth has stated that the Regency continued to meet publicly until 1979. Now after that, it met privately and attendance was strictly by invitation only. So Ronald White and George Stannard subsequently retired from their respective jobs, and they had left London to live in the Church Stratton area of Shropshire. I want to live in England. I do. I want to go to Cornwall. It'd be so much better. So much more interesting. Now, while living in retirement in the Shropshire area, Chalky White used his artistic talents to design and paint a sign for a local public house called the Royal Oak. Now, it depicted the trunk of an oak tree surmounted by a foliate mask of the Green Man shown wearing a golden crown as the divine king. So that's pretty interesting. That's really how he took his craft outside of his craft, the circle. So, more conventional signs for the pub name usually illustrate the story of King Charles I, hiding in an oak tree from his enemies after a famous English Civil War battle. Now, George Stannard discarnated in 1983, and Ronald White followed him to the Shadowlands in 1998. A lot of good people died in 1998. We have Eartha Kitt that died, Francesca Hilton, Zsa Zsa Gabor's daughter. A lot of people. A lot more people. Now, an official Ronald White website now followed him now exists on the internet, and it has his unpublished writings, images of his artwork, and transcripts of the Regency's rites have been made public for the first time. So this website has been set up with the permission of Ronald White's surviving family and keepers. Oh, and keeps alive the heritage of the Regency. So perhaps the most important and influential public pagan group in the history of modern witchcraft revival. I don't know what I think about the Regency still. I do not know, but I do know what I know, what I want to follow, my path, and it just works for me. So if the Regency's craft worked for them, they were following Robert Cochrane's path, then yeah, his basis is, through this entire book so far, the basis for Robert Cochrane's craft practices actually do stem into old traditional craft, which is his twist on it. So he did something really good, and it still works for a lot of people. So if it works, people must be doing something right. Alright, so the Pickingill craft. So this is the best. George Pickingill is, this is just amazing to me, because this, when I started to write, journal down, or take notes on all this, on Amazon Prime, they have a history of something about witches, the witches of Essex, and guess who's in there? Everybody mentioned in this book, everybody, and it is incredible. You get to see the tower, and you get to see the churchyard where George Pickingill would go and his coven would meet. You get to see all these different sites of people. You actually kind of get to see where George is buried, but he was buried in an unmarked grave because the fact that he was associated with being a witch or a cunning man. So it's kind of sad. And then there's all the stories and the mythology and the folklore that they do go through, and it's really interesting. It's a really, really nice kind of they call it a para-documentary, because there's ghostly visions and visitations and stuff, but it's more I would say it's more of their local legend, and I like that. I think it's incredible. So alright, I'm glad we're done with the Regency finally. I love the I loved what I read, everything that I read and learned from that, but I like the Pickingill craft better. So we will go on to the Pickingill craft tomorrow. But it's just, I think you guys are really gonna like, if you guys don't already know the story of old George, Pickingill, then I think you guys should research him and really, Google map Essex, and try to look for his tower that he had, and 7 witches always lived up there, or 6 witches supposedly live up there, and it's just really interesting. It's really interesting, and I love the folklore. It just makes you feel, alive. Reading the folklore and then seeing it and then envisioning it, you're giving flesh, we're putting flesh on the folklore. And it just brings everything to your mind, and it's incredible. I love it. So let's do some coffee talk. Let's see. Why is Flash Player not going to be supported after December of 2020? I don't understand that. Oh well, that's okay. Worse things can happen, right? Where'd my mouse go? There it is. I hate that when my mouse disappears, like the cursor on there. It just, I'm like, where'd you go? Are you hiding from me? So yeah. Alright, let's see. We actually got our first snow today. I don't remember yesterday. Yesterday, let's see. During the readings, I remember saying something to somebody about the first snow. Well, we got it this morning. It was gorgeous, but it's gone now. It was very, very, very gorgeous waking up to see that. I thought it was beautiful. I did. I'm like, yes, I love snow. It makes my bones feel better. Okay. I'm seeing a lot of like popping up for me when I go onto my YouTube. You know, if I want to like watch bloopers of Green Acres, or watch all these old interviews with like Eartha Kitt and Ava Gabor, Zsa Gabor and Magda, all of them, the Gabor sisters, all of that. I have been seeing a lot of the manifesting your special person, and it's just so new age. These people literally tell you that all you have to do is think it and it's going to come to be. It's so much more than that. And people, the witches that I'm talking to, you guys all know, it is so much more than that. You can't just think something and it just poof lands in your, you're not going to just sit here. You work for it. So, alright. Gustavo, hi my brother. Candles are going. And they are actually going really well. Alright, Tina J, hi. Okay, there you are. Oh my god, yay, I got a shout out first of all, whatever. Oh, wait. Okay, so we did do that. Where does your comment go on my other one? I know you, commented. That's weird. That comment went away. Okay, so shout out Tina J. Adam Lantis. Yay, sunbathing. He's definitely looking happy. Yeah, the sun actually, the sun has whatever vitamin D, and it will actually help to cure certain issues with the paws. So he lays himself in the sun where he knows he's hurt, and he actually, he looks good. He's doing good, guys. He's on gabapentin like me. He's doing really, really good. So thank you guys for all your wishes and everything. 25th is, God, not too far away. I'm scared. Okay, Robert O'Donnell, Ashley Lynn. The witch is in. I love that. Michelle Lahorn, hi. Melvin, hello. Allison Chains, I love how you guys put a twist and a spin on those. Victoria Hades, hello. S. Sun. Cindy Miller, Careless, hello, how are you? Tango Mango. Teresa Walker, you're such a sweetheart, I love you. Lisa Oakes, hi love, how are you? Nikki Davis, Shara Harris, hi my darling. Skylee Sullivan, hello from India, hello. I am not going to butcher your name. Gustavo, my brother. Lady Witch, Stanley Berg, you guys are amazing. Lindsay Marie, you have a beautiful soul, my darling. I reflect you guys. That's my goal. That's my purpose of Ouija Pop, is to reflect everybody else's amazing qualities. So, yeah. Okay. Well, I can't find anything else on that. That's so fetch, Lady Witch. Yes, Mean Girls. Oh my god, I love Mean Girls. It's hilarious. I've been stuck on Easy A, though. I love that movie. I think it's incredible. And it's hilarious. It is just so funny. It is so funny. Emma Stone, is that her name? She is something else. Hilarious. And now I have that song, Pocket Full of Sunshine, oh my god, in my head. It's going to be in my head, too, for the rest of the day. Probably for about a week. But I don't have a card, and then I'm probably going to get a ringtone, and no, I'm not. No. God, what is wrong with me? Anyways. So yeah, tomorrow we're going to go over Picking Guildcraft, and I think you guys are going to love that even more, because it's very, very close to what Gemma Gary taught. So I really connect those. And yeah, it's fun, and it's really interesting, so I'm excited. So, alright guys, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I love you all, with all my heart, all the way from Venus, all the way back down. I want to broadcast from Venus, so I'm going to have to work on using a green screen. And then I will actually broadcast from Venus, which will be interesting. It's pretty hot up there, so. But anyways, I love you guys. And everybody have a good day. Be safe. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. You guys all know that. You guys are not stupid, by far. So, I don't have to preach that. I love you guys. Stay safe. And I will see you tomorrow.